Hello, and welcome to this very somber edition of the Arn and Eddie experience. Almost said my name there first. Um, my name is Eddie Siburns. Joining me is a very, very angry man. Not since 2019 has he felt this type of anger before. It's Arn Furious. Arn, how do you
Right.
feel after the fact? Hold on. Don't worry, you're going to go. How do you feel after the fact that it's taken us 3 episodes? We're on the third now, and football is officially dead. Take it away.
Well, let me just get the scroll. Let me just get the scroll thing going on the bottom. There you go. Super League has killed football. That's the headline. So let's go through some of the basics of this. So the Super League, it's not the European Super League. It's very clearly dubbed the Super League by the clubs that are involved in it, which leads me to believe that in about 3 years' time, we'll see Man City playing their games against Riyadh FC in the Super League, or Guangzhou Evergrande versus Liverpool, because it's going to be like this global brand, and that's the thing, isn't it? They're brands. They're not football clubs. They're brands. So these 12. These 12
15.
brands.
15 to
15. If they can convince three other brands to join their existing brand unity project in the Super League. So it's Manchester United, Liverpool, all the good lads, all the lads everyone loves, Man United and Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Of course, Real Madrid's in it. And 3 scum Italian teams.
Yes.
They are the founders of the Super League, which means they are permanent members of the Super League who are not allowed to be relegated or removed from the Super League in any way because they are the Super League. So, I mean, these six brands have been running the Premier League for the last 20 years. And now they've decided that that's not enough money, and they're just going to break away and form their own league, which teams cannot get into. So they can't get bantered by Leicester. They can't have Jamie Vardy knocking 4 past Man United at Old Trafford and doing that to the fans. It can't happen anymore.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 9th place Arsenal can't get almost battered by Tony Khan's Fulham for 96 minutes, only to then equalise in the 97th minute against the team that's in the relegation.
What's the thing they're doing in there? Like, this is going to be an absolutely miserable experience for Arsenal. They're going to be in there year in, year out, getting beaten 7-0 by Real Madrid. And all the team is ever going to do is get humiliated. Is that what they want from their life?
I mean, at least it won't be against Bayern Munich, which happens every time they get drawn with Bayern Munich when they were in the Champions League. It's just it's greed for greed's sake, in a time where it shouldn't be. They shouldn't have done this at this point. Like, if obviously Florentino Perez
during the pandemic.
Yeah, during a pandemic, it shouldn't be brought up during a pandemic. And Florentino Perez has been discussing this for quite some time. I believe the first kind of discussions of it was in 2017 or 2009. I can't remember which one exactly it was.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It started the rumors started kicking off around 2009. There was the thing about Wenger saying, look, he didn't agree with it and he hoped it never happened. And basically nobody wanted to join him, but Perez has kept needling away at all the Yanks in the Premier League and all the oligarchs and the Saudi royalty. And he's just needled away at them to the point where he goes, we can make much more money. We're not making enough money. Like hundreds of millions of pounds of turnover a year. It's not enough, Eddie. It's not enough for them.
Hey, listen, Arsenal had to let go of Gunnar Soros. They had to make tough decisions. Now with this 350 million, they're going to be getting in not on the side of a bus. they will be, they can spend that towards bringing back Gunnosaurus and maybe including his family in work.
Somebody asked me about what qualified these brands to form this breakaway league. So let me just put this up on the screen here. This is exactly why these teams have been selected.
Mm-hmm.
These are the richest teams with the highest revenue turnover. That's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And ironically, the third team
with football or sport,
and ironically, the third team, the 7th team, and the 12th team want no part of it whatsoever, at least in what we know at the moment in time.
Well, the initial rumours were that Bayern Munich had considered it, that Bayern were interested, but there's something to do with German football where the fans own like a chunk of the team, apart from Leipzig, which is owned by a chunk of Red Bull employees.
That is true.
So it was rumored. Bayern, Leipzig were rumored, and PSG. There's still a persistent rumor about PSG where it feels like they're just waiting and biding their time. Because if you think PSG are the good guys in all of this,
no, not at all.
Not a chance. So I'll put a big question mark next to them on the graphic for the thumbnail. I've put the logos of like Bayern and PSG and put a big question mark over them. But that question mark is more about Bayern than it is about PSG.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a clear case of, as I say, money. We want to earn more money. Hello there, Toby.
We're raging, mate.
And obviously, if you look at the money in terms of that, Barcelona have had quite struggles with money revenue-wise.
Which is shocking, really, when you consider how much their turnover is.
Yeah, and it's like a case of, listen, you've not had any fans in your stands.
Put that on the screen, Mike.
You've not had any fans in the stands, so you've kind of been out with a couple of revenue here. Here's 350 million or however much it is that you're going to be getting. And then they've got the sports deal, but as I say, it's just sucking the life out of football. It really is, and I get why they've done that. And I get, if someone's going to offer you money, you're not going to say no for it, especially when these are people who,
you say that some of these have said no.
They're like the cowboy from The Simpsons, who just wants to make all the money. And some of them are like Mr. Burns, where they just like more money. You can either have the money or what's in the mystery box. They're not going to pick the mystery box. They're just going to take the money.
So Karl-Heinz Rummenigge has come out and said Bayern, they didn't participate in the planning of this. They're convinced that the Champions League as is the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It guarantees reliable, consistent footballing. There's no reason for them to join. They feel like they don't need to join this clown brigade.
Yeah, and I mean, as I say, you've not even heard. Yes, you do see an Ajax shirt there. We've not even heard about teams like that. We've not heard from other teams who may not be classified in that. I mean, if you click to page 2 of that, what teams are on there that are going to be,
I don't have a page 2 of that.
See, you don't have the page 2. But if you look at it, like, Tottenham being on there is baffling. Tottenham being in that.
Money. I mean, if you look at, there's a reason why Tottenham are in here. And it's not because they're good at football. It's because Daniel Levy took all the money that was coming into the club and he built the best stadium he possibly could. So that's a stadium that they want in this league.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's a great stadium. I went there for the NFL games
So from
NFL games.
Ajax have just put out a statement as well. So
there's
a number of teams that have put out statements against it. Leipzig has said they're not interested. Porto have said they're not interested. We've got a comment somewhere from
Sevilla have put in a statement.
I have
saying
way more notes than usual. So Porto, their president Pinto da Costa said we can't participate in anything that's against the rules. So Porto finally respecting the rules. It's long overdue. We're in the Champions League. Hope to continue to be there for many years. And then obviously you had Zenit had been asked. They refused to because of Gazprom, who sponsored them and also sponsor
The Champions League.
League, and Sevilla has said they're not interested in joining the Super League. So there are some teams with some integrity out there.
With backbones. And I mean, as I say, I think the German FA have put out a statement basically saying they're outright against it. And as we say, with the whole 50-1 kind of thing about their league, I don't think anyone's going to jump on the other side. I don't think anyone's going to cross.
I don't think so. I mean, the likely candidates were always like Bayern, Leipzig, and Dortmund. They were the team, as we saw from that revenue. Let me put that revenue thing back up. So as you can see the revenue screen there, you see Bayern in third. You've got Dortmund in 12th, and Leipzig are kind of down the bottom there.
Yeah, and I think if you go to the I know you don't have the second page, but I'm pretty sure Schalke is on the second page.
They are down there. Hang on, let me just scroll down.
There we go. So there as well. So Schalke, not. I mean, to be fair, I did fall for the German.
I would love it if they invited Schalke. They're not gonna do it. So
no, I'd say Everton. I don't think at all.
I think Everton have just not been asked because of the whole Big Six thing. It's like they're always separate, aren't they? It's just the way it is.
Here's the thing. That means we're never going to get a Merseyside derby again, which then means that technically Everton won the last
one.
Derby.
Stick that in your pipe.
That's another thing. It takes away certain, local rivalries. Like there's some that they've got there for sure. Like they have, they have the kind of what is seen as the big derbies in terms of that. But yeah, like taking away Liverpool versus Everton in the Merseyside is just a bit pants, really, if I'm being completely honest. I just, it's so soulless. The entire thing looks soulless. I cannot wait. And I say the fact they've not called it in a European league, you just know we're going to get the likes of David Beckham's Inter Miami, one of these MLS teams, LA Galaxy.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised. It's basically you follow the cash. And the cash is going to big banks. It's going to big corporations. It's going to the billionaires that are behind this organization in the first place. It's Florentino Perez. It's the Glazers, who are. I read a quote earlier saying that Man United and Real Madrid were the ringleaders in this, and that does not surprise me in the slightest. I don't have anything against Manchester United historically as a football club, but the Glazers. The Glazers are rotten. They're scumbags.
I mean, it's getting to the point where there was a team created out of anger towards the Glazers. FC United of Manchester was created solely for people who wanted nothing to do with the Glazers anymore. And it's the fact that obviously they don't understand. And one of the things that I've heard over the morning is the Americans don't get the whole idea of relegation. And it's just like... It's like here, and I was watching the Liverpool Leeds game and the build up for it, and it's like if your team gets battered consistently in this league, then what are you really playing for the rest of these games? As I say, you're technically just playing exhibition games, and no one likes friendlies. Apparently, from what I've been told, I like I like friendlies when it's international terms, but that's why then they went, no, we're not having that, and we created the Nations League to get rid of friendlies. So why in club competition are we having this league where if you're not going to win it, then, what are you playing for? Oh, look, we can see these games. We can see Juventus playing Manchester United. Okay, great.
I was saying before we recorded, I was saying, like, for the first couple of seasons, you could see it being quite interesting, but then it's like, it's the same games over and over again because there's nothing to break it up. I mean, like, I love watching the Clasico. We watched the Clasico this year. I love that. It's a great game. But that doesn't mean I want to watch it like 4 times a year.
It loses the appeal. Everything in this thing will lose an appeal. And it will lose such an appeal that rivalries will not matter.
And I think we're having a go at the league itself. And I don't think the league is going to be good.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It may not, but like a lot of these guys that are behind it, these billionaires and oligarchs and royal family members, they are used to getting their own way, and they've really put their foot down with this.
Yeah, and the thing is, the fact is, if these people decide to go, and decide to do this, and these players decide to sign on to it, they are risking their international careers. Now, do they care about international football? Who
Well,
knows?
I heard earlier some of the owners are happy about this because it means they'll get their players fresher because they're not playing so many games. They don't want them to play in the internationals because they don't understand internationals, because they don't have any pride in their own country.
So they don't understand the World Cup. Is this what they're trying to say? They don't understand a competition that challenges your nation's best players against another nation's best players to see who is the best.
Okay. We've got a contrary opinion. How's the best players going against the best players? A bad idea. When it's happening every single week, week in, week out. I don't know if you notice this, but when there's big games in the Premier League, sometimes they're absolute duds. They're boring goalless draws. Nothing happens.
Can someone genuinely tell me that
my real beef with it is that it's a closed system where there is no promotion and relegation, there is no accountability. So it's like you have a bad season. Say you're Tottenham, you finish bottom in this league 10 years running, which may very well happen to them. But say they finish bottom 10 seasons in a row. Well, they don't care. They're still getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, are they gonna?
American sports are not like the same. They're not the same as English sport, and the Americans are trying to put their ideas into this sport.
Because, as I say, they don't have any sense of relegation. They don't have any sense of fighting for anything other than they have the playoff system, and then they get to the final, and that's it. And then that's it. You know, there's no relegation in the NFL. There's no relegation in the MLB because they're all split into quadrants and districts of where they are and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, people do watch the Premiership for the big games, but even then, like, you're going to consistently see these games over and over again until the fact that it's just, Real Madrid are playing Barcelona 5 times.
Part of what I'm happy about when I'm watching the Premier League is having a club to root for, having an underdog. Like you have a big team, you have a small team, and I don't know about anyone else, but like as a Brit, you always kind of root for the underdog.
I mean,
it's a sense of fair play and stuff that you kind of want the small team to win. So you like the Sheffield United's being in there, you like the Burnleys being in there, just so that you have that contrast of fortunes. The team with everything and the team with nothing, and put them head to head. It's like the FA Cup, the glory of the cup and all that. It's like that's where it comes from. You put a league together where every team is elite, and it's like, what's the point?
I think the way they'll try and explain it is
there's no underdog is the problem, unless you consider Tottenham an underdog.
Which club is the most elite club? And then if you look at it, but that's technically what the Champions League does. The Champions League does that. You know, it's not always the best team against the best team because
that's the great thing about the latter stages of the Champions League is once you get past all the group nonsense, you get into the knockout stages and you get those big games, but it's like it's once a year.
Yeah,
that's what makes it special. You get to see like Liverpool versus Real Madrid once every like 5 years because it doesn't happen very often. It makes it special.
Yeah, and I think but the thing people are like, well, you know, we've got to sell this to an audience and we've got to market to this to customers and stuff like that. And it's like there's a difference between customers and fans.
So I'm just going to pop this message up from Mike. I understand what you're saying, Mike, but it's a completely different system to what American sports fans are used to. And instead of trying to understand the system, they tried to bend the system. And they're not going to be able to get rid of the transfer situation. So it's not going to change that. It's just going to make it this elite league with nothing to play for most of the teams that are in it.
Yeah, a team, as I say, a team could go from, you know, like we're watching Leeds versus Liverpool right now, and that's a good game. It's an interesting game to see it. Whereas that's not going to happen in this. And the thing is, the teams who are in the top 6 want to reapply. They still want to do the Super League. They just want to and still play domestic football. But it's just like, even if they were to get back in, it's just, what's the point?
So you're saying there's no salary cap. Well, part of this Super League, they want to put in limitations like a salary cap. And what that does is means that the players get less of the cut. So the same amount of money is coming into the club. There's just less money going to the players. That's what a salary cap does. Instead of the players earning the money, instead of Messi getting his $500,000 a week, which I know people have a go at him for not paying taxes, but like the money is going to him because he's the draw. He's the one that's out there on the pitch winning the games. With a salary cap, with the salary cap they're suggesting and the league setup that they are suggesting, the money goes to the owners, which is the way it is in American sport.
Yeah. And that's just, and again, it's just greed for greed's sake. It's, we're in a pandemic. They've lost quite a substantial amount because there's no fans in the ground. And now they're trying to find, like here's an easy way of getting our football back. Here's the easiest way of getting our money back. And truly, we are the true elite of football. And let's go and form our own league. But then we still want to play in the league that we're originally in. We're also going to damage the chances of our players playing.
If they want to go and form their own league, I honestly don't care. Look, if they want to go and do that, that's fine. But what they want to do is also maintain their spot in the domestic division, which they can get relegated out of. But why should we let them?
I mean, it's very rare that they're going to get relegated. I mean, the only the closest.
No, with the amount of cash that's coming into those clubs, they will stay there. They just will.
As I say, they then have to go out and grind results against these teams like a Sheffield United, like a Leeds United, like a West Brom, and like an Aston Villa.
It's a different kind of challenge, and that's all these games are going to be the same, and that's part of the problem.
Anyway, there was a comment that just came up there. Primitive fans need to evolve. I don't know what he means by that.
Yeah, no, he's saying that the game will always change, the game will always evolve. And we had I'm old enough to remember when the Champions League started. So the Champions League started in 92, 93, and people were up in arms about it because you could finish fourth in the league and qualify for the Champions League, which was a nonsense at the time. And it evolved and changed, and people got used to it, and people now like the Champions League. It took 20 years. But eventually they got around to the idea of liking it. So I get what Mike's saying. I get what he's saying there, that the game does evolve and it does change. But with the Champions League, you still had to qualify for it. You still had to place highly in your domestic league. The 6 brands from the UK, from the Premier League that are going in there, they're saying, well, we don't want to fight each other to qualify for this big pot of money. We just want the big pot of money.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to qualify for it. We just want the cash. Just give us the cash. We're worth it. Look, we're worth it. Look at our stadiums. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong.
I mean, as I say, we're going to see how this develops over the next course of the next cup, because obviously, say UEFA have their meeting. It's rumoured, obviously, Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Chelsea are getting kicked out of the Champions League.
Yeah. But the thing is, like let's try that again. Florentino Perez said, I think it was yesterday, that he had no interest in playing in the Champions League. He didn't want to ever play in the Champions League again. So kick him out of it.
And the thing is, Pep's goal for Man City has always seemed to be winning the Champions League, because the only thing
he's desperate to win it. He's won everything else,
and now they're getting kicked out of it by their own kind of.
I mean, if they get kicked, do you think Pep will stay?
That's the thing. I mean, I think Pep's desperate for a new challenge, but the thing is, he's going to get paid a ton of money to stay if they have the money. Yeah, okay. How have we not? So, okay, how do the best?
I feel like we have.
Would you like to answer again, Arn?
There's 2 problems. I feel like we've answered it.
Okay.
I feel like we've answered it already. It's the problem with, like, you lose the competitive fairness of having to qualify for a tournament. So that you don't know they're going to be the best player. Well, they are going to be the best players, because the best players are going to be the ones that they can buy. And that's what it's all about. It's about greed. It's about money.
I mean, are these players even going to want to go to this Super League? Because you look at the ones that have tweeted in support of it, and
I've seen very little in support of it, to be quite honest.
You see players tweeting about how they're unhappy with it and they don't think it's fair and it's killing the game and it's killing the love of the game. It's like in basketball terms, because I can see he's got a LeBron James avatar. It's like consistently watching the All-Star game and just having the All-Star game and nothing else. That's technically what that's best player against the best player. But the thing is, you want to see.
You need an underdog. You always need an underdog. Otherwise, where's the fun?
Not only do you need an underdog, Mike Kilby said it best. You see these players develop and challenge. You'll see the likes of a Jude Bellingham, a Jadon Sancho, and stuff like that.
Well, look at Jamie Vardy,
and they get a chance to be their own.
Look at Jamie Vardy's career arc. The way he came up from non-league football. He was working until he was about 24. He wasn't playing professional football at any kind of standard until he was 26. He worked his way up the system. He worked his way up to the Premier League and won a Premier League title with Leicester City, qualified for the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
Under this new system, he can't do that because there won't be a Champions League for him to qualify for. And if you win your domestic league, you don't win anything. You win the league, but you don't. It's not going to happen, is it?
What are they going to do? Are they going to have a Super League or a Super Cup or something after that? After it, there's nothing there. As I say, it's just a league. It just doesn't have anything of any value, and it's only obviously just being created. But personally, and again, I respect Mike if you feel it's a good idea. That's no issue at all. However, I just do not see any point of it. It is just let's get money, let's get all these games. That's it. Let's forget about everyone else.
If they were actually coming up with a suggestion saying, like, look, the Champions League, there's too many games, there's not enough elite teams involved in it. That's a problem for them.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted a different way of qualifying for it that involved them playing less games. How many less games I watched? I want loads.
Yeah.
It was the story of the season.
It pretty much did become the story.
I've got sidetracked. So anyway, if they wanted to change the way the Champions League worked, if they want to change it, right, and have people qualifying for this new Super League of theirs, that'd be fine. But it's the fact that they want to just stay in there forever. That's the problem. There's nothing at stake for them there.
I think the whole idea of trying to reapply to be in the Premier League after doing this stuff is just, it's nonsense. It's just absolutely nonsense. You can't suddenly have your cake and eat it.
So I'm not saying it would make the English, Italian, and Spanish leagues more competitive. There is that.
Yeah.
An issue that will come from this is it probably damages all of those leagues because they're not going to be able to have the same kind of sponsorship and television money that they currently get if they're not getting to put on games of the kind of magnitude that you get when you have, like, so let's use the Classico for as an example. It's like a lot of people watch that game. I don't know if this is kind of a plus for the Super League, is you get the Classico all the time. But if you don't have that in La Liga, who's watching La Liga? So you take the top teams out, you're actually ruining the league they come out of, and you're creating a league where they're just away from everything else. It's just not right.
Yeah, I mean, is someone gonna, go, oh, I can't wait to watch Real Betis against Real Sociedad,
So this is completely accurate. The owners are making a decision based on, well, not so much ratings, but money.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
And listen,
they're looking out for number one during a pandemic, and that is not good for me.
And I just want to be clear to Mike, we know that. We're not arguing that. They do not care about fans.
Oh, yeah, they don't care about the fans. They don't care about anyone's feelings.
And we're not disagreeing with that.
I'm not going to convince Stan Kroenke to go back into go back on his word and go, well, actually, I think the Super League's probably a bad idea because of the sheer amount of money. The kind of money that we're talking about is incalculable to me. It's ridiculous.
Here's the thing: Stan Kroenke will probably go and I said this. I would not be surprised if Stan Kroenke does not put that money into Arsenal and puts it into the LA Rams or whatever other team that he has.
Well, he's finally got some money coming in from Arsenal. He'll be thrilled.
Yeah, like the thing is,
the amount of times they failed to qualify for the Champions League with him there, it's like,
and now every time they're in the Super League. Listen, we're not going to be able to change anyone's opinion. As I say, that's the thing. We're happy and we will respect any opinion that anyone has. There are positives about it. There is. The problem is It just does not. It's for us. It's just not something we want, and that's it. I say it'll develop over the next couple of days.
There is a very clear divide in between people who are wanting to see a big spectacular all the time, and people who have followed football for a long time and like the idea of the pyramid where you can move up and down, and there are consequences to your actions. And if you're Aston Villa, you're not guaranteed to be in the top flight every year. If you're Newcastle, you can go. I'm sure Newcastle would love a guarantee of being in the top flight, but like, what's the point? What's the point of it? There's no point.
There's no point. And I say the owners look at the money and look at the popularity of their club teams and think they're related, but it's the local fans funding. Yeah, exactly. It's the locals who are going to be unhappy about it because they want to watch.
Because it's their club. And I know it's a global sport, but they're not the ones who have to go to the ground. Have to pay all the extra money to.
And the majority of people I've seen who have been showing their support for it and like for it, and this is no offense, it's just someone, to be completely honest. It seems that it's foreign fans in terms of, you know, Americans like Alexei Lalas was tweeting that he liked it and he was supporting it, and that's fine. But the local fans are the ones who are going to get hard done by it because they're the ones who are putting that money in.
I see another argument that FIFA's corrupt, which it is, and the UEFA is equally as greedy as anybody involved in the Super League, and that's also true. But you can't replace greed with greed. It's just you got to work together.
What's up? Are you okay? I'm just gonna look through the comments quickly. I do like the one from Demanix1 saying you can't eat rice pudding 3 days in a row. Amen. Mike Jones is back again. Brits pretend as if they care about competitive balance when their clubs just buy up all the talent within the league. I mean, does that technically happen? Has it happened quite recently? I think we do. I think if you're a fan of that team, you'll care. You know, a man in the Championship went to Borussia Dortmund. You know, they do. You know, these clubs are going to put this money in and are going to stockpile players. That's what they do. But the thing is, that then means that the onus is on the other clubs to challenge and rise to that.
I mean, it's never going to be a level playing field.
No, and that's the thing. If we put this into this
that
league,
gives you the underdog, and like that's what I want.
If it's a level playing field every time, then yeah, it might to some people be a good idea. I like when it's a challenge. I like when something is earned and worked for.
Yeah.
Whereas with this Super League, it just
seems you have to earn your spot. You got to be good.
Yeah, and buy the best, you know. And in this one, it's like buy the best players in the world.
Okay. And we started off talking about this.
What?
Liam.
Liam. This is Liam, my friend Liam.
Yeah. So we talked about this at the start. This is the table of richness, which is basically how it's been determined who's in this thing. And these are just the clubs with the most money. Those are the ones that are getting invites. They're the ones with the biggest revenue streams. So if you're thinking like, what are Tottenham doing in there? Well, it's because their revenue stream's enormous because they've got a massive stadium.
Yeah,
that's why.
And as I say, as you said, they've built a great stadium that is, you know, going to be good. And as I say, we're going to see more clubs. You know, I think there's 12 so far announced. There's 3 that have not announced themselves, so they're hidden.
Yeah.
And then
we've been trying to guess at who that is, but like it's really hard to tell because the amount of teams that were. I'm kind of leaning towards PSG being involved in it because it's a PSG kind of thing.
You think PSG are going to be like the "It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin."
Mike has said Roma.
I mean, out of the Italian clubs, we've got the two Milans, Juve. Had Atalanta been announced?
Nothing's been said about Atalanta, but they don't have a lot of domestic income.
It's like it's honestly just like I want
just one more here for Mike, but like we are thinking about it logically. The best already go against the best. That's the Champions League. You have to qualify for it. The Super League, you don't qualify for it. You're already in it.
You have to.
So
you have to go,
you even have to qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, you have to qualify for the World Cup. You have to qualify for the Euros.
You have to earn your spot.
You have to be the best. You have to be the best 4 teams in England to qualify for the Champions League. You have to be the best, however many teams in any other league, and so on and so forth. And then some of those teams get straight into the group stage, and some of them have to then go through a qualifier. So, you're consistent. We are challenging. Yes, they may be against teams from other countries, but again, it's a challenge to get there. It's not, here's the keys, you're already there. So just be lazy, and maybe on the occasion, go for it this season, win. And then if we don't, if it looks like we're not going to win the league this year, who cares? We're in this league. Nothing's going to happen. Let's send out the youth players against this team and this team. It's just...
So for these other teams, we're trying to guess at who the other teams might be.
Okay.
So there's 3 more. I think PSG is going to be in. I think they'll end up going in. They might not go in straight away, but I think they're going to end up in there.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel that does leave France open. I might just happen to post Marseille just as I was about to say Marseille. It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm just going to say Pandas Lego from Twitter has just said it best. Earn your way in, not just buy your way in.
Exactly. That's all we're asking for. But that's what the Champions League is. They already earn staggering sums of money every single year, and they want more.
Yeah.
And it's just pure greed. And the difference between this and every other aspect of society is not there. Every other aspect of society is going exactly the same way, where it's just the elite, and they've got all the money and everyone else is poor.
And the thing is, Lyon, it could be. I mean, Lyon could be there. Marseille, obviously, I say. Monaco, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Monaco in terms of that.
Yeah. But so Porto have said they're not in it. Who's the other one? Dortmund, Leipzig, and Bayern have all said they're not involved, and Sevilla have said they're not involved. So those are like the ones just underneath. Well, Bayern are right at the top, but like the others are just underneath the top tier there. So that's like basically what
every team.
This is a fine point, and I completely agree with this. Every team in the Premiership is owned by an elitist billionaire. That is absolutely true. I completely agree with it. The Premier League is an extremely greedy league, but the point is they want more. They're already in like the highest paid league in the world, and they want more.
Yeah.
And that's what annoys me.
I don't think every team in the Premier League is owned by a greedy elitist billionaire.
It's a pretty high percentage. Apparently Valencia have said no. I didn't see that. That must have been recent.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Mike Ashley. Okay, never mind, Mike. I agree with you. Mike Ashley's in there. So yeah, every team owned by a greedy millionaire. But yeah, did Shakhtar get asked? I mean, potentially they might.
Zenit got asked. Zenit got asked and said no. So I haven't heard anything about Shakhtar Donetsk.
We can't put up, Alan. Change one of the words, and we'll put up. It's just right.
I have another major problem with it, and that's that it's the owners that are behind all this, and none of the owners are coming out and talking about it because they know everyone hates them.
Well, the thing is, they're just wanting. They're doing as Mike said. They're doing what they want to do. They're wanting their money. They're doing it for them. They're not focusing on fans. They're focusing on their own money, and the problem is, that's the thing. That's why in Germany, you have the fans, and you have they have the owner, and the fans have a say in what happens. They have a percentage. That's the same thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, so we can move on to this. In the House of Commons today, they were actually debating what they should do about this. And they were talking about various sanctions that they can use against these guys. Where's the line in it? There it is. Okay. So the government has said they intend to block it from happening. I don't trust a word that comes out of any Conservative MP's mouth, but this is cross-party support. Everyone in the House of Commons is supporting this. They don't want it. As a country, as a whole, we don't want it. So they are intending to do something about it if UEFA don't, and
Okay.
this includes tax increases, which they can do because they're going to be something different to what they're supposed to be. If that makes sense.
It kind of makes sense, yeah.
There's policing. Policing is paid for by us at football grounds. We pay for the policing, not the clubs. So the clubs would have to pay for their own policing. And licenses. There are licenses that they have which can be cancelled, so they can't do this stuff.
I think just want to quickly jump in. A lot of people don't like the Premier League, and a lot of people don't like what the Premier League represents. The Premier League is trying to monopolize football, but then again, everything is trying to monopolize everything.
This is literally a monopoly.
Yeah, right. The whole like the thing is, the Super League is a monopoly and trying to become an even more monopoly, and the Premier League is trying to become a monopoly. The only thing about the Premier League, though, is that when clubs go up, they get the chance to fight for something. They get the chance to survive.
That is just not true. It's just not true. I mean, this weekend, for example, I was raving about the A-League in Australia because it's a really good competitive league with good competitive football in it, and it's fun to watch. And then you get the Premier League, which is like 50% of the time is complete dreck. I watched both the FA Cup semi-finals this weekend. They're two of the worst games I've seen all season. They were both just deadly dull. That's the Premier League.
We also watched the Scottish. We also watched the Scottish Cup, Rangers versus Celtic, which was pretty. It was what it was. It's Scottish football is not pretty. I'm a fan. I'll always love my league and always defend my league, even though they do make some really daft decisions, and are greedy at points because they want. As I say, that league cannot survive without Rangers and Celtic, but it's still a challenge because things will change. Some people don't like people like the Premier League, and some people don't. It's it's all about preference. If Mike wants this Super League to happen, that's fine.
That's fine. Watch it. Go for it.
There are leagues that are different. There are leagues. Yeah, exactly. It's basically looking at Mike, Six Nations. That's it.
Big message.
He's talking it basically. He's basically
saying, yeah.
We went.
It's a horrible elitist competition, but at least it has tradition.
Yeah. And I say they got the World Cup. Yes, the Premier League does dominate viewership worldwide. But that's
Joe's made the point. I've just clicked on the wrong one. Joe is making the point. Serie A is really good to watch most of the time.
Serie A is a great league, an absolute phenomenal league at points. Atlanta versus Juve was great. And they have, it's now become, because Juve are not as strong as they were anymore. It's now become quite a competitive league at points. But yeah, so that is the rants on. Yep, Parma were winning, and then Cagliari 1-4-3, which unfortunately will hurt Alan Rogue because he's a massive Parma fan. But that's the thing: if you can get those type of results,
get in. Thanks, Toby.
Yeah.
So basically, there are alternatives out there. So if I decide that I just hate the Super League and I don't want to watch it at all, there are alternatives for me to go and watch. So this is not like the end of all sport. It's just, it is what it is. If people want to watch it, they can watch it. I don't care.
Yeah. One quick thing, right? Managers getting sacked and stuff like that, and managers that stuff. Like, is that going to happen in this Super League? Is it really going to happen?
Well, how much money are the managers going to be on? Because the sheer difference in cash. I was talking about this earlier. So if you win the Champions League at the moment, I think the prize money is 84 million euro. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's 84. The participation money for this Super League is 350 million euros. Plus, they're taking out some kind of vast, inexplicably big loan that JP Morgan is sorting out, where they get like billions of pounds. I don't even understand how it works, but they're getting billions of pounds to just go and have a nice little jolly.
But here's the thing: if Chelsea are in this and Tuchel doesn't perform well, is he going to get sacked? Probably not. I wouldn't think he would, because it's just a case of it's a league. Will I be watching? No. Will you be watching the
The
Super
Super
League?
League? I have no idea.
I'm saying no. I have no interest.
I mean, I've frequently said that I don't care about things and I'm going to like not watch them, and then when it rolls around, it's just on. So that's the be all and end all of sport, though, isn't it? They want to appeal to the largest number of viewers. So if you have people out there, I mean, like Mike's called me a liar.
I don't know if he's calling you a liar or me a liar. I have genuinely no interest in watching it. I'd actually go.
You watch Scottish football.
I'd go watch Stennis.
You have a fairly low tolerance for.
I'd go watch Stennismuir against Queens Park compared to watching this stuff, because that's just the football I like. I genuinely could not be interested in this. I don't think it's a good idea. And that's the fine. I'm not going to call you a liar and say, "Are you going to watch it?" Yeah, you know you're a liar. You're not going to watch it. So come on, no need for that. But yeah, I mean, we've not even got on to the rest of it, which was Jose Mourinho getting sacked. I should be a lawyer. Anyway, or one of us should be a lawyer, apparently. But yeah, like I genuinely just don't see any. No one's getting a proper challenge out of it, or unless something exciting happens, I don't think there's going to be much challenge.
I think we should move on here. So I want to move on to this year's Champions League.
Okay.
Initially, in our little spreadsheet thing, it's actually down the bottom there. If you ever look down, it says Champions League predictions, who wins, and I've got the final four down there.
Okay.
That we're not doing that anymore, because it's a case of like UEFA are saying they're going to kick out 3 of those 4 teams. Like Real Madrid, Man City, and Chelsea are going to get kicked out of this year's Champions League, and then they're going to make a decision on what they're going to do. That's this week. So this is not the end of the story. It's not like they announce it and then, next year it's happening or something, and UEFA are like, UEFA are properly kicked off it.
Well, they have. They've taken, I say, if you're not happy with the state of the Champions League, then discuss it with them and try and change it and go over a plan to change it. I mean, as I say, don't suddenly try and break away. If you want to break away, that's fine. If you want to earn more money, that's fine. That's your own prerogative. But just try and have some common sense and try and fix something if you think it's broke. Not just go straight away and go, nah, we're leaving, we're having this. Because, as I say, your fans are going to be affected by it. And yes, they don't care about their fans. And maybe that's the problem of the owners. Because at the end of the day, the owners just see the money and that's it. So yeah, I think the idea would be what they probably bring in the teams that got knocked out. But even then, some of the teams that got knocked out are the ones that are just there.
Well, Real Madrid knocked Liverpool out, so Liverpool can't come back in.
So who were the? So yeah.
Porto, so that they
come back?
be allowed back in. But you don't know what they're going to do. They might just say, "Well, PSG qualified for the semi-finals. All the other teams are kicked out, so PSG win it."
Yeah, could be. If they do it,
and then PSG will be like, "Ha, sucker! We're joining the Super League.
we have won the Champions League. Now we're
finally won it. Yeah,
hitting you with a steel chair and running."
Oh yeah, that's very much a heel turn, isn't it?
I mean, they could do it again. These decisions are all happening just now.
The other part that really, really interests me is whether the domestic leagues take proper action against these teams and just say, "Well, you can't play in the domestic league." But furthermore, is the ramification of the players where they've been told they won't be able to play for their international teams.
Yeah.
So if you're a proper say let's take Phil Foden for example. Phil, Man City kid, just broken into the England team. Does he have this desire to be an England international? Does he want to play in a World Cup? Or would he rather play in this Super League? Because you can't do both. So what's he going to do?
It's one of those.
Is he going to want to leave or like what? I mean, each player has got their own individual choices to make here, and some of them have stood up on social media today. And I know it's not players who are currently involved, apart from I think Bruno Fernandes said something, but the likes of like Ander Herrera said like he's very vocally opposed to it. Where's our list? Bakary Sagna, Charlie Austin, like people have been posting today about their opposition to the Super League as a whole, just saying it's killed football.
just Panda's Lego might have an idea, but I think I know that reveals what team they support.
Whenever they abolished the entire sport. Well, we had a good run.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, only took us 3 episodes before football officially died, as far as people are concerned. I think that's the thing, like, because it solves, like, for example, Scotland deciding who's going to be our left back in and Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney, because now it's Greg Taylor automatically.
Greggy Taylor.
But that's the thing. Like these clubs are going to have these players are going to have to make decisions. Is international football and going for the chance to win a World Cup? You've
got to weigh it up. If you're the player, do you want to play for a top team? Do you want to go for this Super League? Or do you want to represent your country?
Mike said it there as well. Tony Cruz spoke out about it. And I'm pretty sure he said he was going to retire.
He said he'd rather retire than play in an elitist Super League, which is funny coming from a Real Madrid player, but we'll let it slide.
Well, I mean, he's going to officially retire. It's kind of seeing on what will happen. And the thing is, they had the interview with Klopp just there at the beginning of the Liverpool thing.
I thought Klopp was going to say something. He didn't really. He said, for me, the Champions League is the Super League in which you do not always end up playing against the same teams, which is him saying he doesn't particularly agree with it in a roundabout sort of way. He wasn't particularly vocal. And earlier on in the day, Tuchel also had a press conference where he just basically said, I don't know. It was proper fencing.
The thing is, they've got to sit on the fence because they're not only wanting to appease the fans, because they probably understand the frustration of fans, they also maybe don't want to annoy their bosses as well at the same time.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this concept. I'm not very good at it, but I'm familiar with it.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. And we'll figure out what, we'll come back on Monday and there might be another massive reveal.
If you sell your principles down the river and you get what you deserve. It's my feeling. Most of these people are stinking rich anyway. What do they care?
Yeah.
Like me personally, if I was in Jurgen Klopp's position, I'd be like, nah, I'm not doing this.
I mean, but
then he's spent years building up the team, so again, it's personal choice. It's like, what do you feel you need to do?
And it's what are you getting from it? Again, what are you really getting from it? What is
money?
Plan? Yeah, money. But in terms of trophies and achievements and that, you're not really getting. You win. You're in the Super League. You're one of what everyone sees as an elite class of football. That you're not, as I say, and we said already, you're not going to get Real Madrid losing to teams like Granada and stuff like this, and Eibar or Eibar. And stuff that's actually quite exciting to see because these teams can sometimes, lose. And
we're still not sure if they're going to be allowed to compete in their own domestic leagues anymore because, like, UEFA have basically said no. But
I mean, I think as far as the teams have said, I think as far as they're probably going to get kicked out. I mean, the thing is, they're as I said.
Yeah, but if they kick them out and say you've got to reapply it, I think it was the 5th tier, so it would be like whatever the conference is called. Was it Vanrama National or something?
Yeah.
You have to basically fight your way. But how long's that going to take when they've got like a transfer budget of like €1 billion?
Hey, Scotland had this issue once before. We had a team that shall not be named because I don't want to get someone coming after me from our fan from that team. They were told they're going all the way down to the division, and everyone in that league, or some people in that league, were like, "Listen, let them back in to the Premier League. Let them back into where they were. We need the money. We need the licensing." Teams went Sporting Integrity, and that team ended up starting from Division 3 and making their way up, which should have been done. My concern is in the Premier League, if they reapply, I have a feeling that if they did get back in or they were given the opportunity, these teams would buckle in and go, actually, we want them back up in the Premier League to keep that money for that deal in for us.
Yeah, they want the money. And that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
That's what sport's all about. It's all about the cash.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, this is happening. I know I was watching Gary Neville last night and he was really angry about it. He was mad at the Glazers. He was mad at the whole thing and saying he hoped it was stopped. but it'll happen because you're dealing with the richest of the rich, and they've put their foot down and gone, we want more.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
want more. You can't stop us.
I mean, yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if they go down to bottom tier to prove a point, they'll just immediately get back up. I think it'd be very, I would, you know, it'd be very difficult to see a team like that struggle.
Well, the good thing about it is there's 6 of them. So if you relegated all 6 teams down to non-league, only 2 can come back up at once. So it'd take a while for them to get back up the system. So Spurs would be stuck in non-league football for 3 years.
Spurs.
Which would be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need a new manager anyway for the Super League since
they
won.
Sacked Mourinho this morning, which I thought was hilarious, but I couldn't even enjoy it.
I know we couldn't enjoy it. I think I've heard rumblings. Obviously, they're again one of these other teams that are in for Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann was the name I heard. Yeah.
Yep, Allegri has been another name as well, because Allegri's been out of football now for about a year, I'd say.
I think it was 2019 summer 2019. So yeah, nearly 2 years.
He's taken about 2 years off from football, which is baffling for a manager to hear about recently.
One of my friends sent me a message asking me if Mourinho was going to go like somewhere else, if he got like a job lined up or something. And I was like, do you realise that if he doesn't go anywhere, he gets £16 million? Like if he doesn't sign for anyone before his contract runs out, I don't know how long the contract's for, but he gets 16 million quid in compensation. If he signs for another club, he doesn't get that.
It's the same with
whether he needs 16 million quid is the question, because all these people are rich. Everyone we're talking about is stinking filthy rich beyond my wildest dreams.
I mean, Chris Wilder, because obviously there was rumblings that he was going to get appointed the Celtic manager. And if he had went to be with Celtic, he would have lost out on money.
He spat my water out there. 90 million he's made in compensation from his various enormous contracts where he's been sacked.
3 seasons Mourinho where he wins where he did used to win a trophy in 3 seasons and then just suddenly went to.
Well, that's where Spurs went wrong. They didn't give him 3 seasons.
Nope, didn't give him 3 seasons, but they did give him a really lovely Amazon Prime documentary to be a part of.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm sure they didn't follow them around for a second. Yeah, that would have been really funny.
But yeah, so other than that, the only other things we just want to quickly get off our chest, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. Because
something I need to get off my chest is that I think everyone should click the like button on this video and subscribe, because it's something I completely forgot to say last time, and it's just down there. Just click.
Yep, right there, down there.
If you haven't done it, like and subscribe. We can wait.
Yeah, we can wait. We'll just stop talking. We'll just
stop
stay
talking.
live.
Just click the subscribe button.
Go
on, click it.
But yeah, quickly, we'll do a good couple of minutes because we've ran way over. But again, it was a topic that we were always going to run over. I feel. Formula One, vroom vroom in Imola, happened.
Yeah, this was going to be the lead. I had so. YouTube has like a thumbnail thing that you put on at the start, and I had spent significant time putting one together with like little bits from the weekend, and I was like, this is going to look really cool, and then this happened, and I'm like, I had like a narrative and everything. There was a little bit of Formula One, there was Lacazette taking the knee. I had like a whole thing, and it's.
And then unfortunately, a Super League got announced, and
Super League got in the way.
Everything changed. So yeah,
this was the lead. We were going to talk about Formula One for like 20 minutes, and we're not.
Instead, we're going to get it for 5. Arn, what were your thoughts on Imola?
I was really annoyed with Sebastian Vettel for retiring on the last lap.
Was this because of your F1 fantasy team? Is this what it was?
Absolutely. I'm just going to pull up my.
So as he does that, it was a really great race. I've seen that George Russell has put up a statement apologizing to Valtteri after he basically something happened there.
George has had to apologize. I'm just going to put my that's my fantasy team in there.
Toto Wolff had to send them both send them both a bit of an earful with everything that happened. Hamilton, Vettel, Norris, Gasly, Schumacher.
See, most of this is fine. Most of this is fine. And then I was watching the race like live, and Vettel retires, and I'm like, "What? He's retired on the last. Why is he retired on the last lap?" And I've got somebody in the chat saying, "You still get the point." Was it Ollie saying he still counts as a finish because you've done 90% of the race or something? And then I look on this screen, and they've put the thing through, and it's like minus 28 points because I don't see he's my turbo driver. So I was on like minus 28 points for one driver. And I'm like, what the hell? Lucky if he doesn't retire, right? But then I ended up with 2, which is not like much better, but well, I'm less salty about it. Let's just say.
Yeah. I think Max really just went for it, pedal to the metal. Very risky.
I mean Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton was kind of neck and neck with him there. It's going to be a very close title race. So, like in a way, it's good Verstappen won because Hamilton won the first race. So they're going to be like neck and neck all the way through the season. The beef that so we watched it with Ollie Court, and Ollie's beef with the race was that it was all DRS. So like Hamilton goes down to like 10th. Gets lucky because there's a massive crash right afterwards of Russell and Bottas. So he gets to go into the pits and get his damaged tires and stuff replaced, and then he comes back out and he's like just plows through the field because he's got a much quicker car.
From 8th position to 2nd in a Mercedes, it was never a surprise he was going to come back and get that and go back to that. And I think there were some good performances from a lot of people overall. Ferrari seemed to be getting somewhere with their car. It's taken a wee bit of time for them. And the first
Ferrari were really bad last season.
Oh, Ferrari have been awful for last
really, really bad.
Ever since the whole thing came out with, I think it was some kind of incident with some investigation that the FIA or the IR, whichever swinging a miss. Whichever one they were. Since then, Ferrari have performed very badly, but they seem to kind of, they've got the young driver in Leclerc, the kind of more experienced driver in Sainz. They've got these 2 drivers they want now, and they're kind of starting to make some headway with it.
I feel like Red Bull would definitely win the constructors if they could actually get a second car that runs right.
The second car is definitely the Football Association of Ireland. Oh, FIA. Whichever one, I can't remember. Yeah. They've just, I think, Red Bull versus the second car. The driver always seems to have a bad issue.
I mean, Perez is a perfectly good driver. You can't blame him. And I had so Domi. So there was 4 of us watching the race. There was me, you, there was Ollie, and there was Domi. And Domi was saying like, "Oh, apologise to Alex Albon," and I'm like, I never had a go at Alex Albon. Somebody in the chat did, but yeah. So Albon and Gasly were both given garbage cars. They didn't do well in it, and as a result, they got replaced.
Yeah,
that's basically what happened. And now Perez has got a garbage car, and he doesn't look as good as he is, which is the case with all of them. If you give him a bad car, there's nothing's going to happen.
As someone in the chat said, no, I don't think I will. When Domi asked everyone to apologise to Alex Albon, it's going to be a very exciting season. As I say, both teams seem to want to be challenging each other, tooth and nail. We just got to see what happens. But yeah, I'm very excited for the next race. I'm very excited to see what happens. The first time since, was it 2012? There's been 2 British racers on.
Hey, we didn't actually say Lando Norris had the best drive of anyone. He had a great day. Probably should have finished second if. They made a bit of a ballsy call with the tires, so they put him on softs, and when everyone else was going on mediums, and like he basically overtook Leclerc, I think, and was racing away from him, and then he got hauled back.
Yeah.
So it was unlucky, but he still got third, and he had a really good race.
he performed. I say that it was clear he was having issues with the car because it was, you saw Hamilton was making his way and he was stating he could feel vibrations, and immediately know when they hear vibrations, it's quite a worrying situation. But for him to hold off Leclerc to finish third was really good, and he did deserve driver of the day, absolutely.
Yeah, won it easily, didn't he? The next race is Portugal, which is on May the 2nd. So that's probably going to coincide with that's the weekend the World Snooker Finals are happening.
Yep.
So we were going to do snooker as well because it's the start of the World Snooker Finals this weekend, but obviously that's been ruined.
We have watched, I tell you, and we'll go into in a bit more detail when we can. We watched some American sports, we watched some baseball, but we'll talk about that. Arn might just tweet his tweet his thoughts about that. We were going to talk about the prediction league. It's still quite tight at the moment.
Yeah, snooker ends on Monday apparently. I can't remember what day it finishes on, but it's like that's the week it's in.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Or we might actually be on when it's happening.
The final happens.
So that would be exciting.
It depends on what happens. We might just sit and watch the final and just end up doing commentary. Yeah, there's some other stuff. We'll talk about some Premier League Hall of Fame picks next week. We'll try and make sure that gets mentioned because we didn't mention that there.
Yeah, so obviously the Premier League has come up with the Hall of Fame, so we're going to talk about that. Although it's kind of become a little bit redundant based on what's happened since. It's basically just everything that I had planned mentally has basically been smashed to pieces. Like the Super League came along with a baseball bat and just kind of.
Because we were also gonna talk about the Cadella, the 10-game ban for Cadella, the man from Slavia Prague.
Yeah, I still want to say something about that. So my issue, I mean, I was very angry about that they gave Cadella a 10-game ban because they found him guilty of being racist, and I feel like 10 games is insufficient. But like there was very minimal coverage of it. So UEFA versus racism, they're pretty quiet, and then all of a sudden someone threatens to take their revenue away, and it's like that's UEFA.
Someone maybe has an incident in their doping, and they end up getting a year ban. Someone racially abuses someone, we're just going to ban you for 10 games.
And the guy who racially abused thumped him and got 3-game ban for thumping him.
Demanix one, if you subscribed or you've not subscribed, we will do a Neil Robertson here review, no problem. I have seen it, but I'm going to maybe wait till next week to tell you how I feel about it.
To give you time to like and subscribe.
To give you time to like and subscribe. But yeah, I think, as I say, UEFA's, that's the thing. We're talking.
I've just seen it. So I've just Googled it.
I know, isn't it? I was watching it, and then I suddenly saw his hair, and I'm just like, goodness me.
Wow.
But yeah, that's his hair. That's a thing. Right. So we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've overrun. We overran last week, but
this is supposed to be a half an hour show. But technically,
this is a one-off. This is because I got enraged by you. To be honest with you, I hate UEFA as well. I hate UEFA. I hate FIFA. They're all greedy. I can't swear on YouTube. I don't much care for the governing bodies of football in general, but it's probably better than being governed by Florentino Perez, the guy from Juventus. What's his name? Agnelli, and Joel Glazer, because that's who'll be governing your sport from now on. Congratulations.
Yao, sorry, quickly. Yao, I'm finished season. I'm finished season 3. I finished season 4. I'm on to season 5 now.
Ooh.
After this finishes, I will put my tweet up to talk about season 4. I have not a lot to say. But I do have some interesting thoughts on it. Also, thank you, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., for liking my tweet about you saying that word that I can't use because we're on YouTube.
Didn't stop you the first week.
Well, I behaved the first. I'm behaving now, trying to be more professional. But listen, yeah, you got anything else to say, Arn, or is that us wrapping up?
No, that's it. We're done. We're done for this week. Thanks for watching.
Question. Arn, are you happy? Are we going to have the video, or are we not going to have the video?
We're gonna have the video.
We're going to have the video.
I want the
Listen,
video.
we'll see. Listen, we will see you next Monday for that Neil Robertson hair review and anything else that happens in the next couple of days.
And other
All
matters.
right?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Bye bye.